Okay guys, I'm a Diamond Elo Rocket Raccoon main, and we need to talk about the little guy. He's been getting some flack. In some of my games, people say, oh, he's not a good healer, or he's not viable. Well, he is, and you're ignorant if you think he's bad, and we need to talk about this because I want to do a little PSA and educate the internet so they know that Rocket Raccoons are totally good, why he's sort of the unsung hero in your games, and how he's carrying the games without you really realizing it, how there's really no numerical value to some of the things he does. And, you know, just for all the other Rocket Raccoon players out there, I want to get you the recognition you deserve. So let's get into it. And at the end of this, we're also going to go over one of my Diamond Elo Rocket games, just so you can kind of see what it looks like, you know, in case you don't know what it looks like. Here we go. So firstly, Rocket has the best mobility out of almost any hero in the game. You know, aside from these like swinging like Spider-Man-y type characters, he has the best mobility, especially compared to any other tactician. With his 2 dashes, he can clear huge amounts of grounds, and you basically should not be dying in these games. Like, there's really no reason to die, especially in lobbies all the way up to Platinum. There's no you can get away from these things. So, I mean, if you are dying, I mean, number one, you are not playing him correctly, and you're bad, and you're just not using his kit correctly, his mobility. Or number two, they spent so much time chasing you down through both of your dashes, through your wall climbs and your hovering ability with your jets, that they, you know, dumped a huge amount of time into getting that kill on you, that it really drew away one of their DPSs from the main team fight. So they actually effectively did a huge portion of damage less for chasing you. So ideally when you die, you're making it worth it. And the other reason you die is, you know, they're consuming some crazy amount of abilities or undodgeable ultimates on you, where, you know, you just aren't going to get away from that. Or you're not paying attention and a Spider-Man sneaks up behind you and combos you, something like this, right? But basically, if you're playing him right, you should not be dying, okay? He has the best mobility for almost any champion. Let me tell you, when somebody is targeting me and spending their time chasing me around trying to kill me, and I'm just, you know, dashing away, or I'm climbing walls to get away and I'm avoiding them, and at the same time healing my team, you know, while they're chasing me, like, this is good. I actually kind of want this. And sometimes I will actually put myself out there, kind of like bait on a fish lure, to draw away one of their DPSs or tanks to chase me down fruitlessly and wasting their time. That way I can waste their time, and it will help take pressure off the rest of the team, right? I mean, you got to utilize this. Now, the importance of his BRB, which is his reviving ability, I mean, this is such a great ability. It's basically like an ultimate ability that he just has on his E key, right? The ability to put another teammate back in the game is huge. Like, it really, really is, especially if you use it in the right times. And if you're playing Rocket, you'll learn that there are good times to use your BRB and there are bad times, you know, and, you know, you can't always control exactly when it's going to be used. Obviously, you can't really control who's going to die first on the team. And you can't control when they're going to die, not really, but you can control when you place the BRB, right? So you don't want to place it, say, if you're coming back from your death and you're coming back to your team who has 3 players left, and they're obviously getting picked off. Like, you can tell your team's gonna keep getting wiped. There's no reason to revive one of those players, right? It'd just be a huge waste. So in that case, you're gonna save your BRB until your team all respawns and kind of gets back together, and then you would put that BRB in a safe place, right? So just make sure you're using it at a good time. But all things considered, if you can assume that your team is playing decently, you know, they're around the same skill level as the enemy team, your team isn't making some huge mistakes, you know, and they're dying for good reasons, they're not just straight intentionally feeding, right? Then your revive has huge value. I mean, what would you rather have? instead of that revive ability, like a stun, a stun ability where you stun somebody for 2 seconds like Luna Snow has, or would you want a revive where you bring another human mind back onto the comp so that they can entirely use their full kit, live, for as long as they're alive, and just do all these things? It's just a no-brainer. A revive is so important. So yeah, I mean, all things considered, if the matchmaking has done its job and both teams are about the same skill level, then just a numbers game, that revive is going to essentially make a 6 versus 6 team fight a 7 versus 6. And if the teams are playing equally, then you're going to win that fight, right? It makes sense. And the other thing is, you can't calculate the value of Rocket's revive in the scoreboard, like the post-match scoreboard. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that Rocket can do that he doesn't really get credit for on the scoreboard, which kind of makes him not look as flashy as some of the other tacticians, right? So these are things to keep in mind. About Rocket's healing gun, right? It's kind of wonky at first just because it behaves unlike other guns, so you're just not used to it. But once you get it, you see that it's super valuable. The fact that the healing bullets bounce around, you can bounce it around several corners. It bounces several times off walls. It travels really fast, through the air. You can heal multiple allies with one bullet. Has a pretty large forgiving like AoE that it'll heal. And you can spam them. So, if you have people on the left that need healing and people on the right, and say you have a storm up above you who's low on health, you can be healing all of those people at the same time, right? Because you just shoot 1 or 2 balls in each direction and they slow down as they're traveling through low health allies and it heals them, right? So you can essentially be healing 3 different pockets of your allies and shooting some damage like directly in front of you if you needed to at the same time. So it's very versatile. I mean, there's no other healer that can heal around 2 corners where there's no straight line of vision. Like, it's super, super nice. Also, they buffed his healing gun by a little bit in this last season, so that's something to take into account as well. Okay, so his ult. Yes, it's not a big AoE ult, brain dead, press ult, and then it heals your team, get out of jail free card, but it's essentially the opposite, right? Instead of healing your whole team, it amplifies their damage, and by a considerable amount, okay? I'm telling you, it actually does quite a bit. I think that most people just don't really understand how much damage it amplifies your team by, just because it doesn't say a percentage, like in the tooltip. Like, I've been trying to find a number, but it must be a large number because you can tell when you really use it and toy around with this, it does a lot more damage. It actually does so much damage that if your team knows that you're about to ult, maybe you tell them and they know it's coming. If your team utilizes your Raccoon ultimate, you can burn through an enemy team who has AoE healing ultimates going on, like a Luna Snow ult, for example. You can actually cut through that healing and get the kills on heroes still if your team focuses down a hero together due to your damage buff. So super huge. Definitely very valuable. I think that, as time goes on and people just know more and more about the game, you're going to see people understand the value of Rocket's ult more. They're going to know how to use it. I still see in my diamond lobbies, I still see teams where I pop the ult and they're not using my ultimate to do more damage. They're just kind of running away. Like, they just don't get it. It just doesn't trigger yet. But eventually people will understand that it is very useful and how to utilize it. Harkening back to what I said about the scoreboard and his BRB revives, you cannot see any metric value on the scoreboard for Rocket's damage ult, right? I mean, at least not for Rocket. You don't get points for that when you boost your entire team and they're all doing a bunch more damage and getting more kills. They just get the score points, right? And makes them look better, not you. So that's another situation where Rocket kind of is the unsung hero for a lot of games and kind of gets the flack for people who are ignorant and just don't understand the game or Rocket very well. They just don't know that they really do love Rocket players. Rocket players carry games kind of secretly, like, you know what I mean? Next, I want to talk about his gun. As you get better at Rocket, you'll find these windows of time where you can use your gun to deal damage and still keep your team safe. You're going to have these windows, sometimes they'll be very small, and this is where it gets difficult, okay? This is what makes it really fun too. But you're going to find these small windows of maybe 2 seconds, maybe you'll have 4 seconds, but you'll have these times where you can tell that your team is safe or at least healthy enough for you to get away with dishing out a very important burst of damage to a target that will catch them by surprise, that will take down their shield and allow your team to get the kill and then snowball a team fight and, essentially win you the game, right? You just have to find these windows and, if you push it too far, and you're not healing your allies, obviously they're going to die and you're going to get flamed. So you don't want that. But if you walk that razor's edge and learn to do this correctly, I guarantee you it's what really makes Rocket fun. Like, it really is awesome. Like, if you have a game where you are getting a bunch of kills and like getting the necessary amount of healing out on your team so they're not dying and you're doing your job, is just really fun. And there's something really satisfying about just walking up to that, say there's an enemy Doctor Strange who's just like been comfortably tanking and walking into your team with his shield and he's been having no repercussions. And he has his healer healing him, but all of a sudden you dump a clip into him, you break his shield, and then you even have enough time to dump a second clip into him. You're gonna do a lot of damage and you secure that kill, and it's just a great thing, okay? And then on top of that, I mean, if you land your shots, you can solo like any squishy, obviously other tacticians, or for example, if there's like an Iron Man or a Storm that's flanking behind, you can dash twice up to wherever they are, get right in their face, and then just dump your whole clip onto them, and you will easily kill them with bullets to spare if you're landing all those shots. I'd say you can, you can secure a squishy kill with your minigun, like with almost like half your clip if you're just landing all those shots, right? So yeah, you just got to learn to lead with that gun and get good at landing those shots, and you can pick up a lot of kills. Like in this game that we're going to watch here, I think I have like 14 or 20 kills. Like, it's no problem. So yes, I mean, his minigun is the kind of thing where it promotes you to be good at the game. Like, Rocket's a very simple like hero, but he's simple on paper but hard to master. He really pushes you to learn the fundamentals of Marvel Rivals and become a better player in general, because he really just promotes like the basics. Like, he has good mobility so you can get out of the way. You should be able to stay alive, be aware of the map, just get 0 deaths at the end of the game. Your healing, he has a simple, pretty simple, straightforward heal. He has a pretty straightforward, like, damage weapon, nothing too, like, complex there. And then he has a revive, and then he has something that makes your whole team do more damage. Like, these are all pretty straightforward concepts. So the thing about a Rocket player, something that makes a Rocket player a really good Rocket player is someone who just understands the game very well. You're someone who understands the kits of all the heroes. You're watching the ult timers for your team and the enemy team. You're keeping track of what ultimate abilities the enemy team has used. You're telling your team that. You're making calls. You're saying, oh, Black Panther on the left side, like, watch out, or you know, Iron Man ult, you know, is down. Like, be ready for this. Like, you want to just be a good support. Alright guys, what better game to spectate than the game that promoted me to Diamond, and I end up going like 11-1 and 30 or something like that on Rocket Raccoon. I'll kind of talk about my positioning and what was going through my mind as each of these plays. I switched to Rocket here. There we go. As each kind of team fight happens, I'll let you know what I was thinking. Just my mindset. So maybe you can take that into your games if you're also trying to learn how to play Rocket in your games. So this map's a little bit hard to crack open on this first point when you're attacking. I mean, compared to all the other maps, I'd say I have the most problems getting onto this site, securing it, just because of the nature of this choke point here. It's pretty easy for them to control it. But our team goes in here. I'm simply just healing, obviously. Sometimes it can be tough here to heal your tanks if they're on the other side of that box, right? Sometimes it's hard to clip the sides of your allies with your AoE heals, even though it's a pretty generous AoE heal that you have. Sometimes it's hard to heal on that site when you have people kind of all the way in there on either side of the wall. But yeah, we get on this site pretty darn easily, you know, our first try, which is not always the case. So I have my ultimate ready. I am... Ooh, I go in here for the Iron Man kill. I got some good damage on him. Notice that I just got right in front of his face to make it as easy as possible for me to aim. I'm honestly not the best shot, so anything I can do to give myself an easier target is what I'm gonna do. Let's see, it looks like I might have healed. Yeah, I probably could have healed that Iron Man, looking back at this. Yep, I just was not paying attention. It's easy to kind of go into a autopilot mode, and you do not want to do this. Make sure in all of your games you do a mental check with yourself, and you make sure that you are not going into autopilot where you're just basically a Marvel Rivals zombie, just going through the motions and clicking, see hero, shoot hero. You want to be playing each situation uniquely. Okay, so as soon as I hear the audio cue for the Iron Man ult, I dash. Nice, yeah. I'm complimenting myself, that's so cringe. But yeah, your wall crawl ability, you crawl fast. I actually have not checked, but I think you wall crawl faster than you do just walk. At least as fast. Okay. It's a nice little place for the BRB right there. Got a little bit of damage out. So I'm trying to get the Iron Man there. Notice that I'm only shooting my gun when I have windows of opportunity. Over here I try to save that Hulk, but he just I couldn't get to him. Yeah, I'm pretty much only using the damage side of my gun when I have windows that I feel safe that my allies are not going to die. You know, you don't want to just be shooting for no reason. Obviously, if you just kind of hit a tank a little bit with some of your damage, it's not worth it because they're just going to heal it up easily. It's not going to cause any pressure on them mentally, so it's not really worth it. One simple trick you can do as far as healing your team is simply being closer to the target you're healing will heal them faster, simply because you're creating less travel time between your healing bullets and your allies. So if it doesn't have to travel through the air as long, then obviously it'll heal them faster. And these little things do matter. They do matter. You know, it can be the difference between saving their life and then thus changing a team fight. When I'm facing an enemy invisible woman ult like that, I will often just kind of back up and spam my heal into it to heal my allies instead of putting myself at risk by standing inside of it. Yeah, I have a pretty good team here, you know, a team that's playing cohesively, so yeah, I'm just trying to finish off some kills there. All right, so here's the second round. You know, we win this game pretty darn easily, you know, so there's not too much for me to comment on, unfortunately, that's out of the norm, or there's nothing really I'm displaying that's like super clutch, I would say. But you could just kind of see like, okay, you know, decent positioning. Obviously I dash away from the Hulk. I do go down here at some point, so we can talk about that. Okay, yeah, so the Hulk does get me there. So let's see. The Hulk spots me. Yeah, I just I didn't notice him coming. Would have been nice if I could have dashed upwards, because the Hulk can't. He can jump, but he couldn't have gone up fast enough to finish me off. Because you can basically, you know, you can run away while you're healing yourself. It makes Rocket super hard to deal with. Super hard to finish off. See, your Rocket Raccoon gun can do significant damage for sure. Like I said, like, I think you have enough bullets to kill 2 squishies with 1 clip. And easily do like half a bar of damage on an unshielded Hulk. And, you know, just little bits of damage like that add up in this game. You know, the time to kill, or the TTK, in Marvel Rivals is pretty darn low. So it only takes a little bit of damage to really swing the mental state of an enemy player to the point where they're thinking, okay, I have to back out now, or I can't play as aggressively anymore, or I have to reposition. Hulk stuns me there. One other little thing to think about is timing your reloads on Rocket Raccoon. You want to reload during windows where your team is healthy. Obviously, if your team all have 1 HP and you have to reload, it's not good because they are at risk of dying. So if you still have half a clip of ammo in your gun, but everyone is full health and there's no imminent damage, I would just reload just to get it reloaded. Yeah, so I mean, we pretty much just wrap it up here. This was a great promotion game to Diamond, you know, playing the Rocket Raccoon, having a nearly flawless KDA. This was one of those games too where it felt like the enemy team they were doing decently. It's not like they weren't putting up a fight. We just we were playing really cohesively as a team. You could just kind of feel everything clicking pretty well. So you gotta love games like that. Keeping your cover there, you know, as I can feel Iron Man was targeting me. Almost had my ult here. I believe I just pop it. Yeah. Another thing you can do is if you're, you know, if my Luna Snow is ulting, healing the entire team, I don't have to worry about healing at that point, right? So during that time, I have a window where you can just open up with your Raccoon gun and do some damage. Especially if your Raccoon ult is popped at the same time, you're gonna do 40% more damage, and you can really just take out some targets. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this spiel about Rocket Raccoon. I hope you enjoyed playing him out there, and I hope you guys understand that he is a valuable hero. It's not all about the numbers on the scoreboard at the end of the game, okay, guys? It's not all about the KDA. You know, you can't. I mean, it's a good image. You know, it's a good idea of how impactful a player was on the game, but it really is not everything. For some heroes in particular, Rocket Raccoon is one, you know, because you can't see the impact of his revives on the scoreboard. You can't see the impact of his damage amp, you know, on your score here. Things like that. Another example of a hero that's like that is the Hulk. A lot of times the Hulk will have huge impacts on the game, but it won't be reflected in his scores because the Hulk will do a lot of disrupting the enemy backline. He'll be distracting the enemy team with his two, like changing shapes. You know, he can really have a huge impact on the game that does not show up on the scoreboard here. Maybe he doesn't get kills, but he allows all of the other players on his team to get kills and look good. You know what I mean? So that's why at the end of the game and lobbies, when people are saying, like, putting all this weight into, oh, you know, you only got this many kills, or, you know, this or this or this, it's just not always really what matters. Okay. And smart players know this. You know, they're not gonna, you know, smart players know this, and the higher you go in elo, people know this. But so don't get caught in that, illusion of bronze mentality where it's like, oh, I have 2 kills more than you, so you're useless, or I have more damage than you, so I'm more impactful or a better player. That's just stupid thinking. A lot of times people have really large damage numbers because they're just dumping damage onto a tank that's getting healed the whole game, getting no impact done and not getting any kills or any pressure done. You know what I mean? So things to think about. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. For more information, please follow my channel. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys out there. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Feel free to check out my channel for other content, but also check out this video here of my buddy who got to Grandmaster playing Rocket Raccoon, and he never shot 1 bullet the entire time. He has 0 damage all the way to Grandmaster, just healing. So you can check out this video here. You're not going to want to miss it right here.